Part 2. C. The virtue of patience contrasted with passion. Moreover, I saw in my dream that Interpreter again took Christian by the hand and led him into a very small room in which there sat two little children, each one on his chair. The name of the elder was Passion, and the other Patience. Passion seemed to be very discontented, while Patience remained calm and quiet. Then Christian asked, "What is the reason for Passion's unrest?" Interpreter replied, "The governor of these children would have him wait for the best things that are to be bestowed at the beginning of the next year. But he wants to have his inheritance now, while Patience is quite willing to wait." Then I saw a person come to Passion and bring him a bag of treasure that was immediately poured out at his feet. At this, the elder child rejoiced and at the same time scornfully laughed at Patience. However, I noticed that very soon Passion's wealth wasted away, with the result that he found himself left with nothing but rags. "Explain this matter to me more fully," began Christian. "These two lads are figures of the men of this world," explained Interpreter. "Now Patience represents those men who are prepared to wait for that which is to come. On the other hand, you will notice that Passion must have all of his inheritance now, this very year, that is, in this present world. So are the men of this world. They insist on having all of their good things now and cannot possibly wait till next year, that is, in the world to come, for lasting treasure. That proverb, 'A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush,' is of more authority with them than all of the divine testimonies of the good things promised in the world to come. But as you saw, Passion quickly wasted away all that he had, so that he ended up having nothing but rags. And so it will be with all like men at the end of this age. Now I see that Patience has superior wisdom, and that for several reasons," said Christian. "One, because he is willing to wait for the best things. Two, and also because the glory of his inheritance will last when that of Passion has long ago been reduced to rags." "Yes," said Interpreter, "and you may add another reason as well. It is that the glory of the next world will never wear out, while the good things of the present decay and then suddenly are gone. Therefore, Passion did not have a very good reason for laughing at Patience, even if he did have his good things first. The reality is that Patience will have the last laugh, because he eventually receives the best things that last eternally. For he who is first must yield to he who is last, because the last must have his first in the future, while the first must make way for nothing, because his good things vanish. Therefore, he who has his inheritance first uses and spends it in time, but he who receives his portion last has it for all of eternity. Therefore, it is said of Dives, or the rich man, in your life you received the good things, and likewise Lazarus, the beggar, received evil things, but now he is comforted, and you are tormented. Christian said, then I understand that it is not good to covet things that are now, but to wait for the best things that are to come. You certainly speak the truth, replied Interpreter. For the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. However, though this be so, yet since present things and our fleshly desires are such close neighbors, one next to the other, and again, because things to come and our carnal appetite are such strangers, so opposed to one another. Therefore, it is that the first of these present things and fleshly desires so quickly establish friendship, and that distance is maintained between the second, eternal things. D. The grace of Christ conquers the assailed heart. Then I saw in my dream that the interpreter took Christian by the hand and led him to a place where there was a fire burning against a wall. In front of this fireplace was a man continually casting buckets of water on the fire in an effort to extinguish it. Nevertheless, the fire continued to burn higher and hotter. What does this mean? Asked Christian. This fire is the work of grace that has been ignited in the heart, began Interpreter. He who casts water upon it so as to extinguish this blaze is the devil. Even so, in that you see the fire burn higher and hotter, let me now show you the reason for this mystery. So Interpreter took Christian behind the wall and the fireplace. There the pilgrim saw a man with a container in his hand, from which he cast oil upon the fire, though secretly. Then said Christian, what does this mean? Hence Interpreter replied, this is Christ, who continually with the oil of his grace maintains the work already begun in the heart. By this means, notwithstanding what the devil attempts to do, the souls of his people still prove to be gracious. And in that you saw that the man stood behind the wall to maintain the fire, this is to teach you that it is hard for those who are tempted to understand how this work of grace is upheld in the soul.